fine. Here's your video, honey. So this is a fragment from the book of Noah that was taken out of the Bible, and it talks about the giants and how they came about. Now if you go to Genesis chapter 6 verse 1 and start there, and read down to about I think it's like the 7th verse, the first thing that it says is the same as this up here. It says, and it came to pass, when the children of men had multiplied in those days, there were born unto them beautiful and comely daughters, and the angels, keyword angels, the children of heaven, saw them and lusted after them, and said, let us choose one, basically choose a wife for ourselves. We're gonna go through that. So with that being said, if you Google the word Nephilim, right, and you look up bones, there are thousands upon thousands upon thousands of actual photos. As a matter of fact, if you Google Nephilim, National Geographic, what happens is this huge skull comes up, and then you see two humans. You see a human standing in the skull, which is about our size, and then you see a man down by the hip bone, and he's easily probably 6 feet, but he looks like he's about this big, like an ant compared to these bones. Now, we've all heard the Fee-Fi-Fo-Fum story and Jack and the Beanstalk and all of that, and we've been told it's all fairy tales. But there were 200 races of giants listed in the Bible, okay? And some of them were the Amalekites, the Amorites, the Anakims, the Ashdothites, the Aviums, the Aviites, the Canaanites. It's just a whole bunch of names, right? Girgashites, Gittites, the Jebusites, the Zamzumans, the Zebusites, and the Zuzumans, right? So there was more, but those are just some of the names. So when you go and you're researching, of course, you can just Google giants, but when you're researching the giants, when you find out that the human mothers and these angels, when they created these giants, it says that they were 300 ells. Well, an ell is a unit of measurement. It's the length between your elbow to the end of your middle finger, and that's between 18 and 21 inches. So if you multiply, I'm sorry, y'all, I'm outside. If you multiply 300 times 18 or 300 times 21 and then divide that by 12 inches, it ends up being 450 feet tall, right? And we think, oh my God, no, I don't believe that. Oh, okay. Well, in the Smithsonian, they have these bones and they're hidden down in their vaults. You know what I'm saying? They know that these things exist. This is why a lot of the anthropologists are, and people like that, they're going to paleontologists. All right, Mrs. Scott. All right, y'all, part 2. So this is why the anthropologists and paleontologists, this is why they know where to go look, because they actually read these books. There is a book by a guy, I think his name is R.H. Charlesworth, or R.H. Charles. You have to get it if you want to study the lost books, if you want to read the books that are were taken out of the Bible prior to King James. This is the book you need to get, because there's like 100 or more books of the Bible that they took out. So anyway, back to what I was saying. So if you can see up here, right about there, it says that there were 200 angels that descended onto a mountain. And I actually looked this mountain, like Mount Hermon, they've changed the name of it, but it's actually Mount Arman. And it's a real place, which is really crazy. Like, it's still over there. It's like the Arabian Peninsula or something like that, somewhere in that area. So basically, these 200 angels said, you know what? Oh, girl booty is real fat. And I know Dad is going to be mad at us, but I need to see what these human men are, why these women are driving these, these men crazy, basically. So they made a pact, all 200 of them, to go down and get wives and create these giants. Well, a lot of people don't know that the mythological gods, Zeus, Hermes, Nike, all of those people, these are their kids, y'all. The Titans and all of that. These were the product of human women and giants sleeping together, and it's all over and in our face everywhere, and we just don't know what to look for. So then we believe that it's not a real story. But each one of these angels had a special gift. There were angels of the water, angels of, that guarded the ground. So their children were going to have all of these same abilities. You see what I'm saying? And this is where the mythological gods got all of their powers and how they were able to be huge and then small and then all of these different things, because just like their fathers, they could blend in or not, And even in like Percy Jackson and movies like that, you see that Zeus and all these people, they could be huge and then they could be small. Well, they didn't get that from just anywhere. The information is here for us. And if you take the time to actually study the Bible and not just read it, it pops out at you. If you go and you even read the story of Joshua and the two spies, when Joshua went over there, he was going into Canaan, he said, we are as grasshoppers to these people, and they see us as such. So if you think about a human person and a grasshopper on their toe, if these human men, if they were to get on this person's toe, they look like the size of a grasshopper. How big were these people? A lot of people don't know that the reason that the Israelites were scared to go to war with a lot of these different people that are listed in the Bible is because they were giants. They were not, and I'm not talking about 9 feet. I'm not talking about 12 feet. I'm talking about hundreds of feet tall. And we see that in the videos where you see all these little people tying up a big giant. Okay, they get that from somewhere. They get it. All right, part 3. So y'all see how big these people are compared to them? Do y'all see that? Y'all see how big them people are? And they'll tell us that these don't exist, but I have books that are very, very old that tell a different story. This is the thing. Sacredtext.org. If you go to the Apocrypha, and the book of Enoch 1 is on there, the book of Adam and Eve is on there, all of these books, the book of Jasher, the book of Enoch, the book of Noah. Who even knew it was a book of Noah? I didn't until about 6 years ago, right? So there are all of these books that we have been told that are lost, right? And it's because they prove that things like this are real. This is why they say that those books are lost and hidden. But I'm here to tell y'all they're not lost. I'm also here to tell you that if you Google some of the names that I mentioned in the first video, literally giant people come up, right? What's really crazy is what they did in history and in the last probably 2,000 years, 1,000 years, I don't know. They've changed the names of it so we don't know where to go look, right? But as you can see, these beings are huge. The humans that are on side of them could easily fit into their mouth. They could easily fit into their mouth. And a lot of people don't know that the main reason that the earth was flooded, and if you don't believe me, go check your Bible, go look at it. You see in Genesis 6 that the angels came down, they had sex with the women, they created giants, and then the earth had to be flooded. Now, that makes a lot more sense because God only needed 10 feet of water to flood, or maybe 20 feet of water to drown out all the dang people. That wouldn't have been hard. Even 100 feet of water would have drowned regular sized people. But if you have people that are 450 feet tall, or in between the 50 or 100 feet and 400 feet tall, yeah, you're going to need a lot of water because they can climb, they can jump. We don't know if they had the ability to fly like their fathers. But clearly it shows that the mythological gods, some of them, the dude with the wings on his shoes and all of this old stuff, of course they've made it kind of like a comic booky type whatever, but in reality, this is why the earth was flooded. These guys, they started bestiality. They started cannibalism because their appetites were insatiable, because they were half human and half angel. Then there were certain things, it was like the DNA didn't mix, so it almost made like a rabid dog in a sense, you know what I'm saying? Or you know how you make dogs too close and then they be crazy? That's basically what this created. Even though they had magical abilities, these are the people that built the pyramids and all of these massive monolithic structures that we can't figure out how they built them, and the machinery that they used, they didn't use machinery, they used their hands. They didn't need to. If something's 450 feet tall, a big block like that won't be anything for them to move. All right, y'all, part 4. So as you can see, these are different versions of the Bible. KJV, ASV, AMP, and the list goes down. I couldn't fit them all in here. But as you can see in the KJ21, it says, and there we saw giants, the sons of Anak, who come of the giants, and we were in our own sight as grasshoppers, and so we were in their sight. And then you see in the second one, it says the Nephilim right there. Down, and AMP, you see it says, then there we saw the Nephilim, the sons of Anak, are part of the Nephilim. And we were like grasshoppers in our own sight, and so we were to them. Okay, y'all. In order for a 6-foot man to look like a grasshopper to a person, how tall does that person have to be? If you go up in the St. Louis Arch, I think it's like 623 feet off the ground, and you look at the people, they look like ants. So 600 feet off the ground, whole people and cars look like they're about this big. So in order for these two spies in Joshua, okay, this is Numbers 13 and 33. If you don't believe me, you can go look it up for yourself. Okay, in every version of the Bible, it says that there were giants, and the human people were like grasshoppers to them. So if you Google Nephilim, like I said, and you look these things up and learn the other names of the giants, because there's giant families. There's 200 different races of giants. You can see that all throughout history, in every culture, they have giant stories. I've studied the Indians. I've studied African history. I've studied just about the Asian history, you name it. Celtic history, all of those different mythologies and things like that. And they all say the same thing, that there were humans, and at some point in time, beings came down and got to their women and created another race of people that had special abilities. Okay, this is where we get Hercules from. And a lot of people don't know. That'll be another video. But definitely, also too, y'all don't know this, but the women that they end up going into, because these people didn't come until the 7th generation from Adam, which was 7 generations down would have been the days of Jared. Okay, look at this. Prior to this, there was no war. There was no, they didn't know how to make swords or none of that stuff. The angels taught them all of that stuff. Magic, potions and all sorts of things. How to beautify the eyelids. Antimony, which is nuclear science. And you can go and read that they had nuclear science all the way back then. Ain't nothing new. The Bible says there's nothing new under the sun. And clearly you can see right here. So we know that the genetic disorder called giantism, where'd it come from? Where'd it come from? It came from right here. The DNA was introduced. All right, y'all. Part 5. So, do y'all see that little man down there at the bottom of that column? And then you see how big those people are? The Egyptians been telling us. They've been telling us what was going on. If you look at all of the old ancient Egyptian hieroglyphs, they show big cows and little cows. They show big people and little people. And people will try to tell you that denotes status. No, it's because those columns over there that they still can't move to this day were not built by normal size people. They were built by the Nephilim. And what a lot of people don't know is that the race of women that the giants went down into, the angels went and created their children with, were the Egyptian, who eventually end up becoming the Egyptian women. Okay. This is why the ancient civilizations had electricity before everybody. This is why they still can't figure out how they got stuff to, do what it was doing back then, is because the fathers of the people that built those ancient cities, were angels. And you can go and read their literature, and it talks about these gods and these different named people that had these abilities. And actually what a lot of people don't know is this too, that a lot of the people that they try to say that the Egyptians, like Anu and all of these different people, they were real people. They were not deities. They were the giants' children. And yes, they were worshipped. And yes, they had magical abilities and they could do magic and, had all these different powers and stuff like that. That's exactly why the Egyptians are still the smartest civilization on the planet, is because of this secret knowledge that they got from the angels. This is how they were able to stop the sun from moving and to make a sun. What China's doing right now, trying to make this sun, or they made that sun, the Egyptians already did that. That's not anything new. They did that a long time ago. And so when you're reading the Bible and when you are studying these ancient books and literature, it don't matter what you study, because I've read from all of the different cultures, and they all have these stories, y'all, that there was these people that came down. There was these beings that came down from another place, aliens, whatever you want to call them. But I know that they were angels, and that just means from another place. And they helped build all these monolithic structures that we see around the world that are so smart selves and so advanced in technology selves. We can't even figure out how to move one block. They still can't move some of the blocks that are in Israel. They cannot move them. Even when they fall, when they crumble, they can't move them. So you can't tell me that regular humans did that, because we're still regular humans and we're supposed to be so smart. We have all this extra technology while we can't move their blocks. All right, y'all, part 5. So, all right, y'all, here go the pictures of the giants I was telling y'all about. Big people and little people. Big cows and little cows. Hopefully, y'all look into it for y'allself. The giants was real, y'all. All right, y'all, here go the pictures of the giants I was telling y'all about. Big people and little people. Big cows and little cows. Hopefully, y'all look into it for y'allself. The giants was real, y'all. All right, y'all, here go the pictures of the. All right, y'all, I see y'all done caused up a stir already. So let me tell y'all something about me. First things first, I'm not going to talk about nothing I haven't studied. The difference between me is most people only study what they feel like is their ancient culture.